What is up, Scrub fam? I'm back after my own wild weekend in Orlando, Florida. It wasn't really a weekend. I was there for like a day. I was there just for Saturday, which was incredibly dope. I made a trip out there Friday night, got in super late, and then had all day Saturday. And then my flight was like ridiculously early this morning. And so now I'm back home in Richmond, Virginia, living life. I got my two dogs back, Jackson and Anakin, from my parents' house. I'm pretty excited about that. But otherwise, before I get started in this video is going to be really deep, really in depth. We're going into ARG Boston. We're going into the breakdown of ARG Boston. So we're going to go over the deck list from top 16. We're going to go over the winners and losers of this weekend. We're going to go over best tech from this weekend and things to look at moving forward. Before I get started in this video, let me give a shout out to my sponsor, Alec Pastrana and Bearded Collectibles is the best shop on the planet. If you're looking to get sealed product, if you're looking to go anywhere for the best gaming experience and also best customer experience, Alec Pastrana offers that at Bearded Collectibles. Not only that, but Bearded Collectibles has one of the premier level teams in this game with a lot of players that are heavily slept on and in general like great minds in the game that I got to spend a ton of time with this weekend to just catch up and recap and have good times with. So overall, my weekend was incredible. But yes, you should check out beardedcollectibles.com for all your TCG needs. I will be posting a link down to my sponsor below in the description, as well as the Patreon. Patreon has been absolutely incredible, not only just for the patrons from their feedback I've been getting, but in general, just for me too. Just being able to talk with people about the game on a consistent basis and be able to give them input and advice and have people take it to heart and then see successes. It's already reaping its benefits for not only people that have already joined the Patreon, but for myself because I'm more exposed to the game, which helps me continue to get better at the game and helps them in turn because I'm able to then give them additional advice. If you're looking to be a patron, you can start it from $1 tier up to $4.20 up to $13.37, and each tier comes with something a little bit extra, a little bit better, all the way up to the $13.37, which gives you the 3xg shirt, 2-hour playtesting session, deck brewing with me, all those things. So tons of access, tons of tools available to you that you get to use, and you get access to all my analysis, all my breakdowns, all my articles, all my videos, even just starting at the dollar tier. So it's great value. So if you want to do that, I'll go ahead and put that link down in the description as well. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let's go ahead and get into MetaTalk's ARG Boston breakdown. This was an insane event with a top 16 that wasn't surprising, right? Top 16 wasn't surprising, but it was surprising to see what ended up in the finals. It was really cool to see two non-flute aggro decks end up in the final, especially since 11 of the decks in the actual top 16 were flute aggro decks. So to see the flute aggro decks make it to the finals was really telling. It's really telling about how people can counter this kind of like aggressive format that we have, but at the same time, you still have to take flute aggro seriously. Like it still has to be something you can consider, and we'll go through that as we go to the level update, which I'll be doing at the end of the video. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and dive straight into the deck list. So deck list, here we go. So we're going to start with Alejandro Sanjao, or Monica, or Android 16, or whatever nickname that he is spiteful about as of late. So let's go ahead and start with his list. So he's playing SS3, he's playing Flute Aggro. So if you take a look from the different ratios he has here, so he plays a lot of 3-ofs in his list, which I kind of get because he kind of is increasing the diversity of his threats as well as his defensive cards, but at the same time, he's sacrificing a lot. So he's sacrificing how often he's going to see specific cards, and cards that are going to be key to his deck maintaining aggression. So something as simple as playing only 3 Unyielding Spirit Trunks. I think this is probably one of your best cards in the entire deck, so playing 3 is something that is questionable, but again, he had tons of success. The dude went 7-0 in Swiss, which was absolutely amazing. He was able to make space for something like 2 at-all cost Vegeta, which this card, if you haven't tested it yet, is incredibly strong, provides a lot of game to you. His 1-drops, he's playing a total of 6, so 3 Saiyan Kaba, 3 Intensifying Power Trunks. So I'm more so of a fan of playing 7, so 4 of one, 3 of another, because of the fact that it's just optimal ratios of seeing one in your opener, or seeing multiple in your opener, just increases a little bit more if you go from 6 to 7, so I like seeing 7. And in general, if you want to do like a evolution play, so intensifying Trunks into chain attack, you have the ability to do that a lot easier. Because right now he's playing 4 chain attack Trunks, but only 3 intensifying power Trunks, where if he did like a 4-4, he's going to be able to do that more often, which is always going to be beneficial for him. So 2 Bodyguard Logic, I think the number is fine. The thing I like about Bodyguard Logic is in game 1, depending on the player draw, it is drastically better or drastically worse. So I really like starting with 2 in the main deck and then siding additional ones based on where you are. So if you're playing 2 in the main and you're on the draw in game 2, so basically if you're going second, I like siding in 2 more because of how much value that card picks up when you're going second, because your opponent plays a battle card first. So this is where I think that Alejandro made some concessions because he wanted to make space for better chain attack targets, which I really like. I've been doing it myself in my own list, but I've been doing something like Preface of Recovery Son Goku because of the fact that the untapped 2 can just lead some really broken turns, but he opted for Burst Attack Son Gohan, which if you haven't picked up this tournament pack card yet, this is the best tournament pack 4 promo that's out there right now. Provides the most value, is Universe 7, draws 2 cards. It does everything that you want to do, especially in a game that might potentially go long. So then he has 4 Pride and Justice Topo. This card was doing tons of work over for the weekend for him. Basically, it was just providing a really cheap threat that he can get on the board on the opponent's turn and then just cause a lot of issues, especially if he ever just start attacking the battle cards. 4 Unbreakable Goku, 4 Chain Attack Trunks, 1 for Seeing Hit. I really like the 1 in the main deck because you're not always going to get there and it's not always the 4-drop that you want to play, but when you do see the 1, it's just a huge boon for you. So I do like 1 in the main and then siding the extra. He's got 2 Time Control Chronoa, 2 Scientist Fu. Time Control Konoha, I see it as a concession to wanting to have game against the Bloodlust decks, the Shugesh decks in game 1, but don't necessarily know if 2 is the appropriate number and if it should need to be in the main. You could probably look at moving it to the sideboard and putting it at 3 copies. So his board, 2 Fu Shrouded in Mystery. This card appeared a lot in sideboards this weekend, so I think that that's pretty cool. People are starting to take notice of that card because it's a 6 energy win the game card. 1 for Seeing Hit, 2 Further Instruction Champa, the 4th Trunks, 2 Vados Assistance, 2 Fearless Pan, 2 Time Control Chronoa, and then 3 Haru Haru. I really like we get a sideboard breakdown from Alejandro because I think it'd be really interesting to hear his thoughts on his Vados Assistances, his Intensifying Power Trunks being the 4th in the sideboard instead of the main, as well as just the things like the 2 Fearless Pan or the 2 Time Control Chronoa, so the 2-2 split. I would like to know his thoughts on that. But in general, I kind of like the idea of increasing the consistency of seeing the Intensifying Power Trunks often, so I'd like to move that to the main deck. So things that you could consider. It depends really how effective At All Cost Vegeta was for him. I think that this card is really good, but the problem is I think it is weak since it's not a barrier threat. And since your life is going to be low a lot of the times, I don't know how often this card's actually going to win you the game. So I'd maybe consider cutting this to maybe make room for that 4th Intensifying Power Trunks and that 4th Unyielding Spirit Trunks. So then you kind of increase your red count, but then also keep your blue count relatively solid. So maybe try that out as you're going forward with this deck. But I do think that this is a contender. He kind of combined a lot of defensive capability with the offensive capabilities, so I really like this deck, and props to Alejandro for going undefeated in Swiss. Next, Henry Hernandez playing Trunks Leader. So again, this is just another Flute aggro deck. His ratios, 3 Scientist Fu is pretty normal. He's playing the 7 1-drops, which we like to see. 3 for Seeing Hit. That may have been a little bit greedy on his part. I think 2 would have been a better number for him, but again, he had tons of success. That's just me talking. 3 Further Instruction Champa, I like that. 3 Chain Attack Trunks, 4 Unbreakable, 2 Zeno, 3 Whis Coercion, 4 Flute, 4 Bean, 4 Mai, 4 Unyielding, 4 Boost. So in general, his deck looks to be trimming on some of the ratios in order to make up space for additional things. So since he's playing the 4 Intensifying Power Trunks, what you could do is you could shift one of the Seeing Hits to get the 4th Chain Attack into the deck, and then maybe try and make some room elsewhere for a better 3-drop to go along with the Chain Attack Trunks. But in general, his list is really solid, and he's really maximizing on the fact that Trunks lets you see so many extra cards that you don't need to play high ratios. It's the same reason that Hirudegarn is so good. Hirudegarn just sees so many of its cards that you don't have to really worry about playing a certain number of high ratios, so you get to kind of diversify your threats, which is sweet. His sideboard, he sides the 1 and 1, so the 3rd Zeno and the 4th Chain Attack. He sides a 4th for Seeing Hit. I imagine when he's on the play. 2 Killy Zone, perfect call. 4 Ultimate Judgment Jocko, great, especially against the Ape decks. You can side this in and really kind of blow them out if they ever try and combo with the Bardock to evolve the Bardock. The 4th Whis Coercion in the board, 3 Time Control Chronoa, that's the appropriate measure, and then 2 Dimensional Banisher Fu. I'm glad to see this card in sideboard. This card is going to do a ton of work for you, and it also has very little cost or downside to playing it. It's just only 5 for Overwhelm, cost 1 energy, and then it's a combo 0 plus 5k. So overall, pretty solid list from Henry Hernandez. Congrats to him in making top. So Jason, he was playing Apes. As you can see, this list is pretty pure. The only thing that's different is he's playing Absolute Defense Great Ape King Vegeta and Hidden Power Tora. So 4 Bulma, 4 Bardock, 4 Roshi, 4 Planet, 4 Will of Iron, 4 Great Ape, 4 March, 4 Successor, 4 Nimbus. So a little bit heavy on the successors. I'm to kind of guarantee, I guess, that he sees the Bardock, but this is a spot here where you have some ability to innovate and make some space. I think overall his deck must have ran really well. The only thing that I would kind of see that I really don't like is the Great Ape Hidden Power Tora. I mean, I guess it kind of makes your marches, like the 3rd and the 4th march, more possible, but I don't know if that card's going to be as effective for you as you go into the later stages of the game. So in general, and it's not going to provide that much value because it's just a single striker. So it's It's good. It's not really good in situations when you're trying to take your opponent from 5 to 3. You'd rather just have the Bardock. So, or if you're trying to take them for 3 to 2, it's probably more effective. But you're just better off using the Vegeta because it has crit. So in general, I think there's some room here for improvement. I do like that he's only playing one Overwhelm card in the main deck, the Scientist Fu. I think that's a really great call. So great work to him. Side deck 3 Crusher Balls, 4 Cronoa. He could have cut this to 3, and that probably would have been better for him anyway, because you only want to slide in 3, especially because if you're playing SS3, you don't want to hit 1 in your life. So I really like maybe dropping this to 3 to make space for something else. 2-dimensional Banisher Fu. Again, that card again comes up. 3 Explosive Spirits on Goku. Smart on his part. I bet this did a lot of value. It picked up a lot of value for him over the course of the tournament. 2 Clan of Terror Mecha Frieza. So this is one of the peaks of the hand. I don't know if this is the one that you want to play. I could see it being beneficial to you, but I could also see Returning Terror being beneficial for you, especially some of the decks that we're seeing play. And then 1 Scientist Fu, just trying to double up and basically add in more value. I think this could have been something else, though, especially because playing up against the 2 black cards, and it's not like a black card that's going to be doing a lot. I imagine the only time he was doing this was he was probably siding out his Hidden Power Taurus because he was like, man, these really aren't that good. But anyway, I could be wrong, but great job, Jason. I do like this deck list a lot. I think the only thing is just maybe swapping your 4 Youthful Bulmas for the 4 Videls that you could swap into with your Bardock to pick up additional value. But in general, overall, I like the deck. Sean was playing Trunks. So lots of 4s, lots of 3s. So for Intensifying, for Unbreakable, for Sensu, for Mai was doing tons of work this weekend for people. It was great to see this card being played. I don't think I set a trend by any means. I think no matter what, if you're playing Trunks, you're playing Mai, but it's really good to see people just taking advantage of the free blockers in this format. 4 Flute, 3 Further Instruction Champa, 3 Chain Attack, 3 Foreseeing Hit, 3 Kaba, 3 Coercion, 2 Zeno. This looks similar, if not identical, to the other Trunks that we just listed that we just looked at. I think the sideboard might even be the same. Yeah, sideboard is exactly the same. So this is a carbon copy of that deck. So in general, congrats to them. If they work together, which it kind of looks like they might have, then they put 2 copies of their deck in the top 16, which is incredible. Anthony was playing Apes. This looks almost identical to Anthony's list when we get onto that later, except for the fact he's playing 4 successors again. Again, kind of greedy. But this man really wants it. This man wants it more than anybody. He's got 2 Food, Shrouded, and Mystery in the deck. This is great for the mirror. It's great in general because you're going to get to 6 energy in SS3. And once you play one of these guys, it is over. That is a wrap. The game ends. So props to Anthony. I'm pretty sure he won a lot of games with this card. His sideboard, he sideboards the King Vegeta package, sideboards King's Cold, sideboards Crusher Ball, Battering Laser. So only thing missing from the sideboard, and I'm pretty sure it is something that might have done him in, is the fact that he has no removal. No removal, aside from King Cold, which is pseudo removal because he has Revenge. But in general, I think that him not having removal was definitely something that kind of failed him throughout the course of the tournament. But in general, his deck looks overall pretty solid. I think 4 successors is a little greedy. You don't need it, especially when your only target is Bardock the Progenitor. And if you just cut it to 2, you still have 6, or even just cut it to 3, you have 7 copies within your main deck. So in general, good work to this gentleman here. I love the Food Shrouded Mystery in the main deck. It just shows you how bad he wanted it. Chris Sock. Woo! This man played Hirudegarn. He was playing 4 Phantom Flame Cannon. He's playing Flute Aggro, 4 Sneak Attack Vegeta, 4 Boost. No Hoi, no Minotia, no Hirudegarn. He's playing 4 Energy Boosted Majin Buu, 4 Chain Attack Trunks, 4 Flute, 4 Bean, 3 Zeno. So this deck is heavily pure. So everything is just 4s. So yeah, so 4s all around, and then 2 3s. So 3 Zenos and 3 Scientist Fu. So his deck draws a ton of cards. I like what he's doing here with the Raging Spirit Sun Gohan. Playing 4 of those in the main deck gives him tons of defensive capability. The 4 energy boosted Majin Buu. These could have been something else. I can't co-sign this list entirely, but Chris Sock is an incredible player. So no matter what deck he plays or sleeves up, he's going to make top cut. That's just him. So, but in general, I'd really love to get his thoughts on how Phantom Flame Cannon played in the main deck for this tournament itself, as well as how he feels about the 4 energy boosted Majin Buu, and if he could pick up value elsewhere. Would have been some Minoshas, some Hirudegarns maybe. But in general, let's look at his sideboard. So his sideboard was pretty much 3 Mysterious Presence Manaka. I guess that's just in tribute to Alejandro. 4 Whis Coercion, that's a good call. 4 time control Crono, that could have been 3, and then 4 Dimensional Banisher Fu. So Dimensional Banisher Fu again comes up. I think this card was probably a huge boon for him across the course of the weekend, but in general, congrats to Chris Sock on another top cut. This dude just keeps adding them up. Low key is going under the radar. No one's talking about this man, but honestly, I've played against him a few times now, and he's so good. He knows everything he's doing throughout the course of the game. He makes this game look like he's playing it on easy mode, so congrats to Chris Sock on topping, again, another event. Eon. So Eon was playing Herudegarn Flute Aggro. This is probably similar to the list that he played at the release event. I think it was actually Eric that attended the event, but in general, you have a lot of the similar choices as a lot of the Flute aggro decks. The only thing that I really, really want to point out here is the 2 Mira Creator Absorbed. This card is insane. It's disgusting, and if you're playing Further Instruction Champa, it is going to be an auto win for you in a lot of different matchups. So I like his 2-2 with Furthering Instruction Champa here. This is a man that probably took a lot of games off of people just from Mira Creator Absorbed. So shout outs to him with the tech. Love this choice in the main deck. It's something I've been experimenting with in a lot of my decks as of late too. So in general, great work. And then he has 2 Scientist Fu, so 4 overroam cards total. He's playing 3 Bodyguard Legic, 2 Objection. The trademark Hill Twins 2 Objection. Because if you see it in your opener, you keep it. And then if you don't see it, it's fine because you minimize the risk. And if you do see it over the course of the game, you can just pitch it with your Hoy Emissary of Flames. So great job to Eon Hill. Another solid deck list with some sweet spice to it. Huge fan. Sideboard, 4 Weak Coercion, 2 Desperate Onslaught Bardock, great for the Apes matchup, 2 Group Leader Pilaf, love that he's playing this card, 4 Jocko, great call, 2 Sun Goten Family of Justice, probably underperformed for him. I'll have to get his thoughts on that going forward. And then 1 Time Control Cronoa. Is he playing 3 in the main? No, he's just playing a singular copy. That makes sense. It makes sense, though, because you only need to see 1, and honestly, if you can mulligan for it, so if you find it, and with the amount of cards you draw in this deck, you're going to find it eventually, so I kind of like that. 2 or 3 is a number that I've been seeing a lot floated around, but 1, that's interesting. Eric Hill. Somewhat similar deck. Not exactly the same. 4 for Seeing Hit. Let me see. Is he playing 4 for Seeing Hit as well? Yeah, wow. Okay, so 4 for Seeing Hit in both these lists. 2 Scientist Fu. He's only playing 1 Mirror Creator Absorbed. Interesting. 2 Objection, only 2 Legic, 2 Furthering, 2 Burst. Okay, so that's where he made his concession. So he cut a Mira, cut a Legic, and he put in 2 Burst Text on Gohan to go with his Chain Attack Trunks. Great call. I love that. I love that he's playing the Tournament Pack promo. This card is too good not to play. Sideboard similar. Desperate Onslaught Bardock, 1 Mirror Creator, 4 Coercions, 2 Sneak Attack Vegeta. I wonder if he sided out the Burst Attack Gohans for the Sneak Attack Vegetas, or if he sided out 2 other cards just to increase his threat density with Chain Attack, but in general, I like it. 2 Haru. Certainly he sided this in to go with his Chain Attack as well as against Yellow matchups. 3 Time Control Crono, that's probably the appropriate number. And then 1 Sun Goten Family of Justice. This probably could have been something else. The 1 was probably, I don't know how much it work for him. Again, it's something I'll talk to him about. But again, great work to both these guys. Hill Twins again, another top cut. These guys are incredible. Joseph Campbell. Same exact list from earlier that we saw for Apes. Sideboard is different though. He's playing Battery Leaders in the sideboard, and he's playing, but he did make space for 1 Explosive Spear, Sun Goku, and then 2 Mass and Mysterious Warrior. So he probably was like, man, I need some removal. So he made some good choices. But in general, great work to Joseph Campbell. Solid deck list. Fu Shrouded in Mystery, dude. Again, another man that wants it. He wants it way more than I do. I'll tell you that. Ryan Severin. Love this man's. Great job, man. Another great work on your top cut. He's playing 2 for Seeing Hit, 2 Legics. Great call with your ratios here. 3 Champa. Love it. 3 Zeno. He's playing 4 Chain Attack Trunks. 3 Chain Attack Trunks. Ooh, that's the only thing that I maybe would have changed. 3 Minutia, 2 Herudegarn, 3 and 3. Okay. So he probably honestly could have shaved the second Herudegarn for the 4th Chain Attack Trunks. He probably would like that. He's playing 3 Scientist Fu. In general, though, I like the list. The only thing that I would see is I would maybe try and figure out a way to play some more impactful 3-drops in the deck itself. But in general, in order to do that, you'd kind of have to cut your Minutia line. So otherwise, I like what his deck was doing. He meant it. He was on plan. He wanted to stay aggressive, wanted to put pressure on the opponent, and he did that. And that produced another top cut for him. Sideboard, 4th Herudegarn, 4th Minutia, 1 Phantom Flame Cannon, 3 Whisk Coercion, 1 Chain Attack Trunks, 1 Zeno, 1 Champa, 2 Jocko, 1 Legic, 3 Cronoa. I'll have to ask this man's about a sideboard. I don't know if this is a real sideboard or not, because there's no removal in the sideboard. All right, moving on. Great job, Ryan. Alfred. I'm just going to go with Alfred. I'm not going to go with the rest of his name because I don't want to butcher it. But Alfred played Trunks. This looks very similar to the list from earlier. Did they get 3 copies of this in Top Cut? They might have. Huh. Props to them, man. If they work together, great. If not, you guys all came up with a really great deck list for the weekend. 2 minus Killy Zone, 2 time control Cronoa. No, 3 time control Cronoa. 2 Dimension Banisher Fu. Dimension Banisher Fu! Ah! Best card, man. Ultimate Judgment Jocko, 1 Wii Scourgeon, 1 Zeno, 1 Foreseeing Hit, 1 Chain Attack Trunks. Yeah, this definitely looks like the other 2 lists from earlier, so great job. These 3 guys, whether if they collaborated or not, you guys had a great deck list for the weekend. Some Trunk Storm decks. This is a great list you guys should look at moving forward. The things I mentioned above earlier in the video, those are the things I would maybe consider changing. Philip, he played Heightened, and he played Flute Aggro. 2 Saiyakaba, again, that's only 6 1-drops. I really like to see 7. 2 Scientist Fu, 4 Sensubine, 3 Foreseeing Hit, 3's fine. I really like 2. And a lot of the Flute Aggro decks, 4 Chain Attack, 4 Burst Attack Sun Gohan. This man knows. This man gets it. Burst Attack Sun Gohan is the truth. Especially when you combine it with your Chain Attack Trunks or in general, hard casting it, you can never go wrong. It's going to draw you so many cards across the course of the game. 4 Coercion, 4 Topo, 4 Videl. That's why he played the 4 Burst Attack Gohan. He wanted the free blockers. I like it. 3 Zen of the Plain God, 4 Legendary Flute. This might be a list you guys want to mess around with. This might be something you want to kind of experiment with. You may want to shift -1 Foreseeing Hit for a 3rd Kaba to give yourself 7 of the 1-drops. Only other thing I can think of is maybe trying to put more Adults and Gohans in the deck or cutting one of the Videls because you're not always going to have a Gohan on the field. But in general, great list. Love this. I love the ideas that he has in it. Sideboard, 2 Further Instruction Champa, 2 Jiren Fist of Justice, great call. 2 minus Killy Zone, 2 Time Control Cronoa, 1 Toki Toki, 2 Dimensional Banisher Fu. Dimensional Banisher Fu! 4 Ultimate Judgment Jocko. Great sideboard calls. All these. I love this sideboard. Good job, Philip. Your sideboard looks legit. You look like you have a plan. You know what you're doing. The only thing is just maybe, I don't think you really need to do the Toki Toki and the Time Control Cronoa, but in general, I like it. You're fine. 2 minus Killy Zone. This is a really good sideboard, man. Props to you. And I love your main deck. This is a deck you guys should try if you're trying to play Flute Aggro. I like this a lot with SS3. Good work. Danny Wynn! The boy. The boy! Essentially, this is Danny Hype's deck list. He's got, maybe with some tweaks in here, 2 Dimensional Banisher Fu. Again, card showing up in spades. 4 Time Control Chrono, 2 Foreseeing Hit, 4 Full Power Energy. Love it. Infinite Energy Android 18. So he's going to be able to side in more green cards so he can up his green count for the full power. Otherwise, 4 Ready to Fight, 4 Unyielding, 2 Focus Mind, 2 Flute. This is smart with U7 Gohan since you usually rely on your cards on board in order to combo within the draw cards. I really like the 2 here. 4 Beans, 4 Kaba, 3 Videl. Yep, perfect. This could be 4. I got to figure out why they're not playing 4 and said they're playing 3, so maybe I'll message them and ask them. 4 Backbone Universe 7, 3 Champa, 3 Burst Attack Sun Gohan, good call. 4 Unbreakable, 4 Download Link Piccolo, 2 Download Link Sun Gohan for the removal, 4 Master Roshi, 3 Mirror Curator Absorbed. So with the Champas and the 3 Miras, great work. This is a really solid deck list. Shout out to Danny Hype and Danny Wynn. Danny Wynn's OP. He's legit. So, and again, great sideboard. Love it. Great work, guys. The GOAT, Anthony Hernandez. So if you look at his deck list, Akira, it is his trademark, pure as can be, all 4s, 1-2, the only 2 being Successor or Hope. He's playing no Overwhelm cards main deck because he wants to maximize his odds of hitting double yellow from the start so he can double Bardock the Progenitor on turn 1. Great work. Love this list. From top to bottom, it's smooth, it's buttery, it's delicious. He's playing the 4 Genes. So I like that he innovated from his list that he played the week prior at the Super Release Tournament. The Genes, the Kirimon Videls, he definitely made this deck a lot better from that week. So great job here. 2 Mass and the Mysterious Warrior. This should be Dimensional Banisher Fu. He learned that lesson today. Time Control Cronoa. 2 Fu Shrouded Mystery. Great call. 2 Battering Laser. 4 Haru Haru. This could have been 3 Haru Haru. And then 3 Crusher Balls. Otherwise, great sideboard. Again, the Mass Hand should be Dimensional Banisher Fu, though. And then great main deck, of course. Anthony, as always, pure deck list, super consistent, opting for consistency over everything else. So great work to Anthony. And he plays Negates. I remember when Home Dude used to say Negates were bad. Dude, you play 8 Negates, my guy. Get off it. 8 Negates hand blockers. You defensive. Man, that helmet is strapped on real tight, Anthony. Love you. Great work on that second place, man. Jerome Porter played SS3 GT. One combination attack pan, one victorious fist speaks out to me. I probably would have cut the victorious fist for a second combination attack pan, and I probably would have tried to get to 3 combination attack pans in the main deck. The card is just too good with flute, especially when you're trying to go for game. 2 time patrol trunks. This is fair for his overrun card. He probably could have opted for scientist food to pick up a lot more value in order to be able to really close out games. But I see what he's doing here, trying to find the answers and trying to find the combo pieces he needs. He's playing 4 topos again, of course. For boost attack, no other negates in the deck. So the only negate in the deck is Topo. Sideboard, 3 Kanoa, 2 Jiren Fist of Justice, 3 Coercion. It's on the board, okay. 2 Legic, 3 Raging Spirit Son Gohan, 2 Burst Attack Son Gohan. So no real removal aside from Jiren, right? Yeah, no removal aside from Jiren and Pride and Justice Topo, which isn't too bad. And then in general, he's siding in the Burst Attacks and Gohans for his Chain Attack package, siding in these. I'm assuming in Game 2 he's siding out of GT for the most part for a lot of matchups, especially if he wins Game 1 with GT. He's probably siding it out if he's playing against an aggro deck. But in general, great work with his SS3 GT. Is only SS3 deck in top 16. Lastly, let's go, Rob. Rob Russo, man. Winner of the event. Played a really sweet deck. So this looks like it started with the base and a lot of the different cards that were in PPG's list from their super release tournament, but this list is drastically better. Like, this list is way better than the list that the guys were playing at PPG. But of course, this list comes from with additional weekend knowledge and hindsight, and so huge props to Rob in this construction of a deck. He absolutely destroyed top 16 with this list. He played incredibly well down the stretch, especially in his games against Anthony. In game 1, honestly, I thought that he absolutely manhandled Anthony. I thought that he outplayed him to a T. He read all of his plays. He forced him into comboing certain things. He forced him into attacking his battle cards and really punishing him for it. So Rob really controlled game 1. Game 2 went Anthony's way, which I figured would happen. And then game 3, Rob was able to pull it out with the sweet top deck scientist food in the game. But in general, it was a great finals. And shout out to Rob. Great deck list. I'm going to be stripping this. I'm going to be making some, like, if I'm going to make any changes with it, I might make some changes on it, but I'm going to be adding this to my gauntlet to test with and see just how viable it is as we continue to move forward as the format evolves. But in general, I think this deck is great. It was a wonderful call for this weekend because people are really cheating, man. They're cheating. They're not playing a removal. Like, people are really trying to just get by playing these aggressive decks. And if you can stop somebody from being aggressive and you can play a threat like Bergamo, in which it completely changes the game, it warps the game, it creates a game within itself. Cards that do that are incredibly powerful, and you have to take notice of them. And not only that, his main deck was great, his sideboard was amazing. 2 Piccolo the Stratus from removal, 1 Fushran Mystery, 1 Legic to basically side him for the third. I'm imagining if he was on the draw against aggro. Love it. 3 Dragon Fist SS3, this card did work for him. 4 Cronoa, 2 Energy Boosted Beerus, I saw this do work for him on camera as well, and 2 Mafu. But great sideboard, man. Shout out to Rob. Great deck. So that's the deck list breakdown. Take these, add them to your gauntlet. You heard the ones that I picked out, the ones that I really loved off the top. But in general, I really think that there's a lot of really good deck lists in here, but there's a few that kind of stand out above the rest. And shout out to all these guys that were at the event and did so well. Again, congrats to Rob for winning the event. So now we're going to go over to the winner of the weekend. Winner of the weekend was Trio de Dangerous Bergamo. You saw this card on camera. You saw 2 of them on camera. It locked the game. In game 1, he got 2. They were both in rest mode. Anthony scooped. It was game. So this was the winner of the weekend. Price on this is going to go up immediately. Be prepared. People are going to buy him out. This card was awesome. Did a ton of work. But what I love about this card and what it did for everybody this weekend is it changed the format entirely. It changed the levels of the format entirely, and it changed the rules of engagement moving forward to what you need to do going forward. So winner of the weekend, Trio de Dangerous Bergamo. Huge fan of this card. I loved it in testing. It's honestly would influence my own sideboard decisions because I've played against this card enough to know. But again, great call. Great job, Rob. Loser of the weekend, leader diversity. Hardcore, dude. There were only 3 leaders in top 16. SS3 Goku, Hirudegarn, and Trunks. So which I knew would be... Oh, 4. They're all blue leaders. They're all flute leaders. I knew it would be the case, but at the same time, it's really disappointing. So leader diversity was the huge loser this weekend. So there were 4 leaders, and 3 of them took up the majority of top cut, with only 1 being Universe 7 Gohan. Shout out to Danny Wynn. But leader diversity took a huge hit this weekend. I really challenge people to step outside the box. I get it that you want to play flute decks more than anything, but there's a lot of powerful stuff out there that you guys haven't even touched yet. And I'm going to be working on all this week because I got Gen Con coming up in a week and a half. But in general, that was the loser of the weekend, deck diversity. Deck of the weekend, Rob Russo's Blue SS3. If you had to guess, if you didn't know already, this was the deck of the weekend. This is the deck of the weekend because it shifted the paradigm completely of the format and the way you have to think moving forward. He took advantage and punished the format. He punished the format for not playing removal in the main deck and not playing it in the sideboard. And if you look at the top 16 list, aside from some of the decks, like there weren't a lot of decks that played removal at the tournament, and he was able to capitalize on that. Not only that, he played a great strategy of making the game go long and just grinding games out with a great leader, great strategy, and then just great battle cards, just consistent pressure on the opponent, and then great play too. Go back and watch those finals. Go watch that game 1 again. If you really read in depth into the game state and see what he's doing to Anthony throughout the course of the turns, you'll really admire his play. So great job to Rob Russo. Let's go, Rob. Blue SS3. Best sideboard tech. You heard me shout about it all through me reviewing deck list. Dimensional Banisher Fu was the best sideboard tech. If you didn't think it was, you bad. And I've been onto this card since release. I knew this was going to be the spot. The role that it filled. Love this card. Play it as much as you can. Deck of the weekend. All right. And lastly, we'll do the format level update. Format level update. Level 1, Flute Aggro. Level 2, Apes. Level 3, SS3 Control. So these are the decks that we saw that were really successful this weekend. So this is the stuff that you need to be prepared against. So if you are building a brand new deck, the first deck you need to be able to compete with, right? The first deck you need to check off your box is Flute Aggro. That's the first deck you need to be able to compete with. Level 2. So once you get past that, the next deck you need to be able to beat and compete with is Apes. Level 3. Once you get past that, the next deck you need to be able to compete with is SS3 Control. So this is your new levels. These are the levels you need to focus on if you're going to be doing new deck building, or if you're going to be picking a level going forward, or if you're trying to go over the top, if you're trying to go all the way to level 4 with something that you're brewing right now. This is what you have to take into account. If you can't beat these 3 decks, if you don't have game against one of these three decks with great sideboard tech to improve your matchups in the other 2, you're going to be punished in this format. So we're moving forward. This is what we're looking at going to Gen Con. These are our levels, and now we have to brew for the next week and a half and work and test to figure out which level we want to be on, or if we want to go over the top of all the levels. But in general, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Again, if you want more content like this, if you want more information like this, go ahead and subscribe, press that like button, leave a comment down below, see the description, go to the Patreon, sign up, become a patron. It's easy, you get access to all the information for super cheap. And in general, remember that Beard Collectibles is the best sponsor on the planet. I had an amazing time this weekend. I hope you guys did too. Thank you so much for all your support from all the patrons ever. Patrons, reach out to me if you have a playtest session that you need to get in. Go ahead and reach out to me via Facebook Messenger. If you have a deck that you need to work on, go ahead and reach out to me via Facebook Messenger so we can get this started, because we have an event coming up in a week and a half if you're going to Gen Con. Otherwise, thank you, Dragon Ball Super community. Congrats to Rob. Let's go, Rob! Okay, bye!